So hello and welcome to the 6th Petitpaw vlog. I've asked a friend here at work to help me out to correct my video problem. I've been doing my own video editing and hopefully the timing works good. I've had some problems uploading it to YouTube, so hopefully there's no differentiation from my lips to the volume of my voice, sorry, to the timing of my voice. So this week is really about, last week I talked about connecting with your employees. This one's as an executive connecting with your customer base. And I want to use the example of BMO Field. I had the pleasure of opening that soccer stadium and running it as well as two other prominent sports facilities in Toronto. And the thing I learned there was my relationship with, and the reason this comes to me now, I was at the soccer game last night, and the supporters groups in the North End Elite, the Red Patch Boys, and the U sector are a highly engaged customer base in their product. Some would argue they've made it, and I might lean to that with them. I watched them last night and it brought back a lot of great memories and it inspired me to talk about it today. When I was there, I learned the valuable lesson of getting out and talking to my customers, and not from a survey or an email, literally dealing with them. And they were awesome. They gave me great feedback. A lot of it was criticism, but it was always constructive. Only once or twice did it cross personal lines, but it took me leaving there to value how much that meant to me. And I would spend every game, and I encouraged all of my staff, my head of security, food and beverage, event staff, to go and engage with those supporter groups, because they really brought the atmosphere to that stadium, as well as the non-supporter groups. We spent times in the suites, we spent times with the different sections along the east and west side. And it was really cool because they helped me learn something in my business career, that you can't fake customer interaction. And it led me to what I wanted to talk about this week from their inspiration is, how do you get engaged with people more quickly when you're not running a soccer stadium and there's 20,000 fans that are there with you each and every game? And I really love doing that stuff, from talking to them at the game to going and have a beer and finding out what the problems were at their local pubs, and really building in an engaging, sincere relationship. And I thought, social media. I gotta tell you, leaders, if you are still fighting this social media thing, one, you gotta buy in. You gotta take the leap of faith and you gotta be there. Because guess what? Whether you like it or not, people are talking about your brand. So why wouldn't you want to be there and engage and find out what's being well received and what's not being well received, so you can address the problem and add stock to your brand? So, you know, we'll respond to a negative issue with one of our brands on Twitter while using TweetDeck or Hootsuite or whatever it may be, and address the problem transparently, and we find that builds a lot of credibility for our brand because you're acknowledging it in space. And if you're not there, your consumers are going to talk about it anyways. When I came up in retail at the early stages of my career, my district managers used to tell me, if you have a great engagement with the customer, you're lucky if they tell one person. If they're not satisfied, they'll tell 10 to 13. That was the ongoing stat. Well, guess what now? Everybody's got 200 followers on Twitter. Everybody has 300 to 400 friends on Facebook, and they have another couple hundred connections on LinkedIn. So you have one negative experience with the customer, and they've told 1,000 people, not 10 people. So it's beyond me while leaders in major organizations are not making that commitment to get into the social media space. You're not going to be good at it right away, but if you go in there with the sincerity of finding about how people are engaging with your brand, you'll get some feedback. And more importantly, if you really jump into it like we have here, and I won't share, this is not meant to be, oh, I just realized my mug's here. This is not meant to be a marketing plug, and you won't hear me mention my company at all. I try not to do that. But we've engaged in it, and we've gone to conferences where we learn about content and how likes aren't king, and how it's about engagement and the relationship and what's in it for the consumer. And we're constantly tweaking that. If we wouldn't have made the leap into that space from the organic position of, how do I replicate that interaction at BMO Field and dealing with the fan and getting the good, the bad, and the ugly, and take that and sincerely bring it into the space we have now, we'd be behind the times. Because the consumer's there, people are there, and relationships, although they may not be in person anymore, can be multiplied way quicker. So the lesson I'm trying to share this week, if you find value in it, is jump into that social media space, but don't do it from a, here's a sale, here's my product. Do it from a, what do you need to hear from me? How can I add value in the relationship? How do I respond to your issues? And really try and build that interaction to replace the fact that, you know, I can't be in 70 branches across the country dealing with our customer from day to day, but I sure can monitor what people are saying in the space. So if you're a senior leader and you're trying to decide whether you're going to get into social media or not, take the plunge and learn as you go. It's better than not being there at all, and get back to that organic place that is getting to know your customer and find out as much about them as you can and respond to their concerns. And to Red Patch Boys, North End Elite, U Sector, and all the other fans, Tribal Rhythm Nation at BMO Field, I sure did miss you guys a lot last night being in that game. It was a great environment, and I thank you for 2 phenomenal years of my career, and I learned a lot. So thank you very much, and go TFC.